What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video. And we got Bruce on another video. But we got Bruce and MG on the video. This is our spoiler-free review of Avengers Endgame. We're going to try to be as vague as possible. There's a lot to talk about, but a movie like this, just about anything you say can be a spoiler. So we're going to try our best not to spoil anything. We all saw it Thursday night. And we're going to kind of give a rating of what we thought the movie overall as a whole, and what characters in the movie that we liked. Whatever other detail these guys want to chime in on. Now, Avengers Endgame's coming on. Infinity War came out a year around around the same time, and everyone pretty much, half the universe got wiped out. Thanos got all the stones. He wiped everyone out. Culmination of 10 years of him gathering the gems, manipulating things through the different movies, and he said he did exactly what he said he was gonna do. And Endgame is the aftermath of what he did. Now, anything else that I probably will say will be spoilers, but I can tell you characters that were really good in this movie that you saw in the trailers. You knew they were going to be in the movie. Robert Downey's Iron Man, of course, was great. Thor. You guys know how I feel about Ant-Man. Scott Lang, Ant-Man. I liked him in this movie. I don't think he's better than some of the guys, top guys that I thought in terms of an acting job. Hemsworth, Robert Downey, Chris Evans. I thought those guys were better, but I thought in terms of him, he was better than he was in Civil War, better than he was in Ant-Man, better than he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because I always thought he was corny as fuck. I mean, that's obviously that's the character they wanted to put out there, and people like that. But I always thought he was corny. But I thought he did a really good job. Just his chemistry with the characters in this movie. Other characters, Nebula was good. Rocket. Bruce Banner was good. Thinking some other characters. I'll say this. What they actually did with Captain Marvel, I didn't expect. I expected them to kind of go a different way. But I did like what they actually did with her, which I won't say. Obviously, it's a spoiler. Who are you guys' favorite character in the movies?
I mean, Thanos. Thanos, bro. The part where he threw James Harden off the cliff, it was great.
James Harden's still getting the call. He's still getting the call shooting.
Unless it's the playoffs.
He's shooting over 15 now. Well, we're all fucking dead at that point.
My favorite characters? I mean, dude.
Of course it's gonna be Iron Man.
Well, I mean, I got, Elizabeth Olsen, bro. And Scarlett Johansson, they're definitely up there. Iron Man, everyone was great in this movie. And I will tell people this here on Carolina Calvin's channel. Carolina Calvin, he does real movie reviews and video game reviews, not these nerds and the dialogue and I would say that for anyone on the fence to go see this movie, you gotta go see it. You gotta go see it.
Yeah.
And one thing I want you to take with you, first of all, it's a 3-hour movie, so make sure you do some preparing. So you don't got to run to the bathroom and miss something.
Scarlett Johansson had a good idea. Wear a diaper.
Don't do that.
She said
They're
wear a
gonna
diaper.
laugh at you. Yeah. Bring patience. It's a 3-hour movie, and you got to look at the setup for this movie. Going into this movie, this is what I told myself. I said, okay, the movie's starting out from a unique situation. When you don't really see movies like this, a follow-up to the way that Infinity War ended. You're gonna get some storytelling, So make sure to bring your patience. But no, it is an amazing film. It's a great movie. If you don't trust the Russo brothers by now, you probably need to get your head checked.
Nothing but home runs.
Yeah, and if you're someone who you liked even one single Avengers team-up movie, you're gonna love this film. If you're someone who's watched all these movies in the MCU, even 50% of them, you're gonna love this film. It's a great movie. Again, these critics out there, the Oscars, all these other individuals who they'll sit there and be like, well, the thing is, the superhero movie. Dude, they can piss off. Superhero movies are supposed to be fun. They're supposed to have characters. They're supposed to tell a story. And you're going to get some action. And, of course, it's the MCU. You're going to get some great visuals. And this movie has it all. So it's a great movie, and it's really tough to put something over Dark Knight when you think about Dark Knight. There's been a couple movies in the MCU to make a run for Dark Knight for me, but this may be one of my favorite movies of all time, no matter the genre. It's great. It's a great movie, bro.
And how many movie franchises can say they own a 20-second movie period, but also still keep everything together? You got movies who try to do their universe, they fall apart with only a few movies in. This is the 22nd movie, and they still there's your holes here and there, but in the grand scheme of things, they still made everything make sense. As as someone you probably there's people that didn't watch every movie. Infinity War, you got to pretty much watch that one. But they still made it to where you can understand the stories. The stories aren't, this one I would say is more complex than most of their movies for obvious reasons. But for the most part, the stories have been simple. Simple isn't bad. Simple stories, aren't bad because you don't want every single movie to be this complex, deep story. It's a superhero movie. It's the replacement. I've always said this. It's the replacement for your 80s and 90s, action movies. Back then, they were everywhere, and the superhero movies are kind of the replacement for that. That's why I always tell people, when people do talk about the superhero movies, either in a negative light or whatever. But this movie, like Bruce said, you gotta go watch this movie if you care even a little bit about the MCU. The hype surrounding it. I mean, how many theories, how many videos have we seen where people were talking about, oh, this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. It's crazy, and for me, you guys as well, for them to come out and fulfill a lot of those expectations in your 22nd movie that's supposed to essentially put a bow on the things you've been building up for 10, 11 years. What other franchise has done that? What other franchise do we see even getting close to that? In terms of just that entire universe. And having characters who, like your Iron Man characters, Captain America, Thor, that right there was some of not only greatest superhero characters we've seen on screen, but just some of the best characters that we're gonna remember for years. That's something, that something like that is hard to do nowadays. I mean, I know these characters have been around for a long time, but they've never been this. Most of them have never been this.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Calvin, you brought up the old action movies. There's some people that don't get it I mean, obviously, look at the box office, and
Yeah.
like if you go to these movies, it's it just folks from all different walks of life, right? Like families, and you see children, you see old people, you see young people. I mean, like it's amazing. It's a phenomenon. Now, you were talking about the old school action movies, yeah, where you had like fake martial artists like Steven Seagal running around in a ponytail with a gun, right? But then you look at this, like back in the day, those were the action movies, like okay, guy, gun, buddy cop, right? And the thing that these movies have done is they've taken action movies and raised them to another level. You know, you had characters back in those movies. You had a hero, right? Back in those Van Damme, obviously Van Damme had great movies. Even Seagal had some good movies. You know, Stallone and Arnold and so on and so forth. These were regular human beings doing hero stuff. And what the MCU's done, and what Batman did, you know, really you look at Batman, you look at Superman with Christopher Reeves, and what the DC's done, hit or miss. Well, what these superhero movies have done is they've just made such a larger-than-life world with larger-than-life characters, you know, doing extraordinary things. And for some people, there's still a stigma with it, and it's like, dude, you're missing out. Like, if anyone feels that way, they're just missing out, man. These are fun movies. That's what they're supposed to be.
And for like in terms of Marvel, like the Marvel just comics period, this is considered like there were times where people thought this, oh, you're a nerd weirdo, but this shit is cool now, and they've made it this way with the movies, and that's just a simple fact.
Calvin, that was me.
Yeah.
Back when I was younger, playing ball, you know, like comics, you know, I don't know. I got time for that nerd stuff, you know.
But then when you watched Iron Man 1, it's like, oh shit, this guy's pretty cool.
Yes. And I'm like, okay. And I always like Batman, but okay. So like, if you're one of those that you feel that way, bro, dude, just give him a shot. You know, you could go watch this one, just watch it as a standalone movie. I think you have a good time.
And I think with this movie, technology, like you was kind of talking about it, where they've taken it up a notch. Biggest thing, technology, CG, just like Infinity War. Endgame was a feast to the eyes. You're watching that and you see the CG with guys. I mean, we saw the CG with guys like Thanos in Infinity War, and just to see it and how good it looks amongst all the other CG in the movie, man, it's always cool to look at. It's always,
visual buffet.
Yes, it is. It's always cool to look at, and that's one thing, man. Big fan of technology. You know, you see CG's getting better with time, and to see it on your screen, man, it's really good. And this movie did not disappoint, and definitely in that regard, sound, like I said, CG, those were the best currently. You don't see any other company with that level of CG. But MG, what you think of
Yeah, I heard MG on mute. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I was about to say. I thought you were about to say something. What'd you think about the I guess the movie as a whole?
I thought the movie was great. Without giving anything away, I don't feel like there was a weak performance by anybody in the movie. I feel like everybody was strong. I feel like the storytelling was good. You guys were just talking about the CG, which the CG, you know, it's what we expect out of Marvel at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Great CG, right? And they rarely let us down when it comes to that too. You know, they have their little slip ups here and there, you know, which we acknowledge. But you know, I thought the CG was on point. I agree with Bruce about patience, because it is a 3-hour movie, and you know, it's 3 acts. Each one sets up the next, right? And you know, you kind of build up towards that towards that third act, which is the you know, the act of you know, in movies, when you get to the third act, that's when everything kind of comes together. And you know, it's kind of perfect considering that, you know, this is the culmination of 11 years and 21 movies. You know, which make up the 22nd movie, which is this one. So I thought they did a hell of a job, and especially when you're talking about trying to fit so many different side stories into a movie, which we've seen them do in Infinity War, and we've seen them do it in Civil War as well. It's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're writing for so many characters that have their own individual franchises, and you want to still keep the integrity of each one of those individual properties without sacrificing it for another. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's something that the Russo brothers have done a great job at doing when you kind of look at their track record with these movies, including this one. So I thought Marvel hit pretty much a home run with this. There's very little negative you could say about the movie, in my opinion. So you have to see it. You gotta see it. It is an event. It is a great movie. It is something that is going to go down as a moment in time. When you consider, I mean, they're already smashing overseas box office records because it opened up overseas yesterday.
Yeah, the 24th. Yeah.
So I think the early projections is 169 million so far overseas, which is a huge number, and I think they're talking about this could possibly do 800 million first week.
Yeah,
worldwide.
I see those numbers, yeah.
Which is monstrous, and you don't want to be the one. You don't want to be the one person who doesn't, the one out of that who doesn't see the movie. This is what everybody's going to be talking about, regardless of when you get a chance to see it. If you've seen it opening night, like we got a chance to, if you're going to see it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or even if it's a week or two from now, whenever you got a chance, you gotta get out and see this movie, especially if you've seen any of the previous movies. They did a good job of, and the thing I think they did a better job of in this movie than in Infinity War was, a lot of people kind of walked out of Infinity War kind of not necessarily knowing what's going on because there was so much coming together, and I think in this movie it's a lot easier to understand what's going on, if you're not into these movies already.
I can't say one thing. This parts in the movie, if you haven't seen every single movie, you would be kind of confused about some of the particular scenes. So I could say that was one thing where, yeah, you probably had to see this movie that there are a lot of people that didn't get into it until late. I know a lot of people that didn't start watching it until Black Panther. So, unless you went back, there's probably some parts that are lost on you, based on parts in this movie. So I can definitely see that being as a negative, saying someone doesn't understand this particular scene in the movie. I can kind of understand it. If they didn't see every single movie in the MCU, because it's a lot of movies, man. We're talking 21 movies. That's a lot of movies to watch.
I think this one was less than Infinity War, though. I think Infinity War there was a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I remember even making a video of movies that you should watch before you watch Infinity War. Which did help out some people, so they wouldn't have to go through every single movie. To go through the more important ones that directly link to Infinity War, that link to Endgame. I think that video did help people out a lot. How much are they gonna miss the Russos though?
Yeah, in terms of directing the big team ups, yeah. Their main hand has always been in the Cap movies.
Yeah,
obviously, and then they kind of transitioned over to doing these movies once Joss Whedon left. So the interesting thing about the Russos, and yes, they're gone, and they said they would come back for Secret Invasion. They're still doing movies. Their future projects include a lot of these Marvel guys. The 21, I don't know if anybody else got the preview for the 21 Bridges movie with Chadwick Boseman, right? It's a Russo brothers movie. they have another movie that I think it's already filmed, if it's not in the process of already filming, with Chris Hemsworth. And then they have another movie that they're working on, and Tom Holland is in the talks to be the lead role in that. So
They're probably just kind of taking a break from the superhero thing, probably.
yeah, I just find it interesting too that the people that they are working with are people who are still, are people from the MCU, which tells me that, they're going to end up building relationships with these actors, right? And I think it could be a way for Marvel to possibly get the Russo's brothers back one day, right? It's kind of like Hollywood's a gang. It's kind of like a Christopher Nolan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go watch Christopher Nolan's movies, and I guarantee you find at least like 5 people who have been in every Christopher Nolan movie, because he reuses a lot of the same actors.
Yeah.
And so I think it's at least I'm optimistic that they'll be back, but I'm optimistic of them coming back in terms of the chances, but I don't think it's likely. If that makes sense.
Yeah, if they do, it'll be a while. Because they kind of burnt out. You talk about doing Infinity War, then filming Endgame at the same time. That could take a lot out of you, especially based on the scope of these, those 2 films.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the scope of the films they've done for Marvel, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame.
Yep.
That is.
So for a lot of people, that's their top 5. That's in their top 5.
Yeah, that's the monster quartet of movies. So, maybe they feel like they gotta, kind of, stretch their roots, their artistic roots elsewhere right now. Once again, you get a lot of people in this business who are serious in their craft, and they don't want to get pigeonholed in a box. So maybe they feel like they just need to, kind of stretch their legs a little bit, with their artistic, freedom, and do something else, and then maybe they'll come back around,
Mm-hmm. So, to kind of, end things, I think we kind of gave our opinion on, the movie as a whole without giving anything away. Definitely, we're gonna do a spoiler review. Probably Saturday. Gotta make sure more people see the film, so we get more people talking about it. So that video will probably come Saturday. But what did you give a score? What did you guys give the movie? And I guess where would you place it?
10 out of 10. Ben Affleck dies at the end.
Well,
so upset about Affleck.
Yeah.
They're gonna bring him back.
No. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'm not a fan of Ben Affleck as Batman. 10 out of 10. Good action, decent comedic moments, somber moments, and shocking moments.
Definitely.
You're gonna get it all.
Yep. Wide range of emotions you're gonna get from the movie. What about you, MG?
I can't remember what I gave Infinity War, but I would put this like 0.1 behind Infinity War. So still pretty close for me. I like Infinity War slightly more, but I had Infinity War ranked pretty highly.
I'm the same. I don't remember what I gave it.
Yeah,
but it will be slightly behind. It'll be somewhere between 9.5. Movie was great. I did like Infinity War just a little bit more, but the payoff from this movie, for a lot of people, including me, guys on the panel, it exceeded expectations. We already came in this movie with a lot of hype, and I think that was met for the most part in this film. You don't feel like coming out of, you don't feel like, maybe you felt that some things could have been done differently, but you felt as though, like, coming out of this movie that most of it was done right.
Yeah, and I don't know when I'll see it again, just because it's a 3-hour movie. If I'll go see it in theaters or not, because I think the movies that I have in my top 5 currently before this movie came out, those are movies I've watched a million times at this point. Like Winter Soldier, which is probably that, Infinity War and Civil War for me, is probably the pinnacle of the MCU.
Yeah,
and
I don't see it get much better than those.
And I've seen all of them at least a good 15 times.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, you know, I gotta sit on Endgame a little bit, because in the moment it's definitely in my top 5 for sure. Like, that's probably not gonna change. But in terms of where I would put it in the upper echelon of my top 5, I would have to see it again to really go there. Because Winter Soldier, that's almost as close to a perfect movie as you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is damn near flawless. So, and I mean, I still enjoy Civil War more than some others. I've seen some others who don't have it in their top 2 or 3, have it maybe in their top 5 or something like that. But I really enjoyed Civil War too. So, and then Infinity War. So I got to see it again before I make the final judgment. But it's in my top 5.
Yeah, trying to see that against a 3-hour movie. The time passed really quick on the first viewing, just because you're locked in. You're seeing everything that's going on. The time passes quickly, but going the second time, where you're kind of, you know about everything that happens, that time might drag on. That 3 hours will seem long, man.
Yeah, that replay value is gonna determine. You know, like I said, great in the moment, but that replay value is gonna determine how high it goes in my top 5.
Yeah, but there's really nothing more to say about the movie without giving any spoilers. Like I said, we're doing a video Saturday. We're gonna get out of here. It's early in the morning. Play your stuff, and we can get out of here. Bruce?
What's that?
I was saying plug your stuff so we can get out of here.
Oh, I don't need to plug anything. Just watch Calvin's videos. He's got great videos, man.
Okay. Well, y'all, if you haven't already subscribed, do so. Hit that.
Go see the movie.
Please go see the movie so you can come back.
Hell? Like, I mean, if you're
video.
watching this and you haven't gone to see the movie, what the hell is wrong with you? Go watch the movie. You're gonna have a good time. What's the worst that could happen? You know, it's a good movie.
You're definitely gonna love the action. I can tell you that. But yeah, hit the bell so you can see more videos. I'm gonna be putting out more videos. Got a video coming out Saturday. Peace. We're out.